Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, to all of you who tune in to the Dr. D Inspire stream from all the different platforms that we have. You know what? It has been just an exciting time kicking off this Upgrade My Life experience in 30 days. Day 2, here we go. Look, now, if you've never tuned into a live stream before, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Alana DeGrassa, and I'm the president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. And I'm super excited today to have you join me in this wonderful live stream where we are talking about everything it will take for you to say, I can and I will upgrade my life. Let me say that again. I can and I will upgrade my life. And I want to let you know something. The reason why we started this UPML movement, as we say, is because we noticed that with all the people we've been coaching and speaking to, and all the audiences I've had the pleasure to connect with, and all the years of experience I've had over, goodness, 20 something years in the education realm, I realized that, as we got older, a lot of people stopped believing that their dreams were actually possible. So, good morning to you. Make sure you put your name down so I can know who you are because I can't always see everything. But if you put your name in the chat, I can actually give you a shout out. So, a lot of times when we think about reaching a new milestone in our lives, there are so many things that we have to get over. We have to, number one, get over our self-limiting beliefs. We have to, number two, get over all the things that we tell ourselves about whether or not our goals are actually possible. So welcome to this Upgrade My Life in 30 Days experience. When we started this in June of this past summer rather, we had an amazing time. And I got to see people kickstart their businesses or leverage what they were doing. I got to see people, work on their life balance and work on their goals and, really take themselves seriously. Because I don't know about you, just like I said yesterday, and also give me some hearts if you're enjoying the fact that we're up together. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Let me know. Oh my goodness, Dr. D, I am tuned in because then it lets me know I'm not just having this conversation by myself. And I know many of you are busy and you're getting ready for work, or maybe you're getting your children up or whatever you're doing. But I want to say good morning to you. Good morning and welcome to the Upgrade My Life in 30 Days experience. Really, the goal of this is that when you check into one of my live streams, you often will leave with a thought of, how can I take that nugget that's just for me? So it could be that I share something in this whole 25 minute segment and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, that is the one thing I really needed to hear. So will you join me? Make sure you comment below when you go, snap, that was for me. And that lets me know that you are tuned in. So today I have a topic. It's one of the number one issues that many of the constituents that I serve struggle with, and that is the big P word. I call it the P word, and it is procrastination. A lot of us sometimes struggle in this area. And procrastination can be anything from a really small experience with it, or maybe that's been a habit that has just kind of elongated over time. But what I have noticed is that a lot of people set intentions, right? We have good intentions to do great things. We have the great intention to maybe write a new book or to do a new project or to increase the revenue in something we're doing. A lot of individuals will say to me, oh, I have this great goal and this is what I'd like to do. Or I'm seeing you speak and I'm always been told that I'm a natural speaker, right? But then there comes a point after that initial intention when there are steps and there are actions and there's all of these other things that you have to do to show up in a manner that produces results. And that is where that P word comes in. And I want to ask you, what happens when you know that you're not kind of doing all that you can do? What are some of the signs that you get when you know, oh my goodness, I'm completely dropping the ball? Well, I know for me, some of the things that I tend to do is, well, this is one task I can complete. I'll do that next week. Or these are some, areas that I need to look into, but I'll do it a month from now. And the things that tend to overwhelm us, or the things that are not so easy to do, those are the things that we tend to keep putting off. Because if we keep putting it off, it makes us feel good. Oh, I know it's something I need to focus on, but you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. I know I've got 15 years of experience in this industry, and so many people have told me I'm great at it. But you know what? One day I'll think about how I can put that into something. Or I hear it so many times. Oh, Dr. D, I love what you're doing. Actually, I can do what you're doing. And one day I will be able to put this together. And so what happens is one day becomes 10 days, becomes 30 days, becomes 60, becomes 200 days, becomes 1 year. And then that thing can lead to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, 10, 15. And then what we assume is normalized, like, well, I guess that wasn't for me, isn't necessarily the case. But at the root of it, it's just looking at the core of what we really wanted to do and just asking ourselves, what happened to that dream I had? What actually happened to that book that I started that I wanted to finish, but I didn't? What actually happened to these particular areas in my life? So I love it. Deflated. Yes. So sometimes we feel deflated. So we've got all of these different things that we have to think about when it pertains to reaching new goals. And I want to encourage you today to try to tell yourself to do something different. So whether you tune into this now or whether you tune into this later, I want to let you know something. It doesn't really matter how many people are standing behind you when you first say you want to do something new, especially when it comes to you becoming the best version of yourself. So first of all, good morning. If you just tuned in, give me some hearts or let me know you're tuning in by commenting below. And I can't see all of your comments all the time, but just know that I will be looking at those comments and commenting on them throughout the week. But today's word again is the P word, procrastination. Can you write in the chat box, no more procrastination for me? Now I want to ask you this question. When we procrastinate, what are some of the things we feel when we know that we could have done so much more? I'm going to pause there. What are some of the things? What are some of the thoughts? What are some of the things that can happen when you realize, oh my goodness, I am living in complete procrastination? Well, I want to encourage you. And I also want to talk about, they did a research to look at what were some of the top resentments that people had when they realized they could have done so much more. Some of the things that people said was, I wish I had more fun. I wish I worked hard, but not so hard that I didn't have fun. Like, I know sometimes we think that at a certain age, we just have to be serious and we cannot have joy and we can't smile and we can't. I remember one time I was walking somewhere and someone said, why do you have that big old smile on your face? Well, you know what? Smiling is one of the best forms of medicine. When you smile, your face lights up. When you smile, your perspective of things shift. When you smile, you warm a room. So smiling is great. And sometimes we lose our smile because we feel like we're not truly smiling from within. Sometimes we lose our smile because we think, I'm just supposed to work my job and push down my passions and just do what I'm supposed to do, what's expected of me. And when will I really smile from my gut and really feel like, wow, I'm leading a life that I've always dreamed of? Whether, and some people have gifts of painting, some people have gifts of writing, some people have more structural gifts, like they might be gifted at organizing. But what is amazing to me is when someone is aware of those giftings and they don't do anything with it. It's like, I get it. It's like they want to wait until everything is perfect. And my biggest thing to that is you will never feel absolutely perfect about really taking charge and doing something different. You just won't. And there will always be something that you need to focus on. Now, don't get me wrong. You do need to get prepared. You do need to have your mindset ready. But one of the hardest things that we can do is to start even when we don't feel like every single thing is lined up. So I want to just encourage you to do something different. And I want to ask you, I mean, if you had to make a bold goal, what would that bold goal be? Now, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on one of the other platforms, or you're watching in my private community, you know what? You can take down these notes and tell yourself, this is the new goal that I'm going to do this year. I'm going to wake up every single day and I'm going to make one small gesture towards a given goal. And I'm going to do it without apology. But in order for you to do that, you are going to have to wake up, number one. Number two, you're going to have really a set place in your office. Maybe, I remember one time there was a client I had, she was in her car, y'all, because that was the only place that she had complete silence. So you'd have to be able to be in an environment where you can clearly hear yourself, and you have to be in a place where you really say to yourself, I am really ready to show up like never before. And if you don't have my book, Tomorrow Can't Wait, the first chapter is all about showing up. The first chapter is all about my personal journey of what it meant for me to really lead a drastically different life. Because I understand procrastination because I spent 15 years procrastinating, doing what you see me doing now. I had all of the dreams, I had everything written down. I just didn't execute. And it wasn't like I didn't know how. I just kept telling myself, when it feels right, then I will. And so I just waited 1 year, then I waited a second year, then I waited a third year, then it was 5, 10, 15. And then I said, Alana, wait a minute. If you keep procrastinating, you're going to be, at the other end of your life saying, I wish or I wish I would have, or I knew that I could have. And I don't want that to be for you. So last night, thank you, by the way, to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, I had a great opportunity to talk about, what are some of the things I wish I knew back then that I know now? Or if I had to be re-educated, what would I have wanted to learn? And I think that the thing is that sometimes when you're young, people will tell you, oh, you're too young to really know what you want to do. And then when you're older, they'll tell you you're too old to do what you've always dreamed of doing. So I talked about the importance of making sure that you are aware of the value that you offer, and you're aware of the ideation that you have with the dreams you've had and the industry experience you've had. So I want to just encourage you today to remember that the things that you've always dreamed of doing, no matter if it took you 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10, they are still possible. But the difference and the distinction will be how you decide to show up. How you decide to say, even today, you know what? I've been saying I want to write a book. Why don't I write my first chapter? Boom. Or, you know what? I've been saying I've been doing this in my industry for this many years. Why don't I actually sit down and ask myself, what could that potentially look like? What service could I actually provide? What are the things I've been doing that I can now serve and add to my own economy, because now I can offer this to others? So these are the things that we have to start thinking about if we want to say, I can and I will upgrade my life. These are the things that we need to say. It's what we're doing when no one is watching. It's how we're in our own personal laboratory figuring these things out. And I will say, some of you who've talked to me, many of my clients, many constituents, many participants, some of you just need to start. And you just need to start by taking one small step. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is the fact that this year we have our International Women Build Confidence Conference. And it's primarily for women, but men do also attend. We're going to have a massive amount of speakers and workshop presenters and thought leaders from every industry, giving you tips and tools about how you can really upgrade in your personal and professional life. And I want to invite you to that. So if you're interested in that, just comment below and we'll make sure to send you information as to how you can apply. But look, there are always opportunities for you to take drastic action. I know that because that was my story. And I had to really come to a place where I said, Alana, look, where do you want to be this time next year? Where do you want to be? And if you keep doing what you're doing right now, what will be the result this time next year? So we've heard it said before, if you want something different, you've got to do something new. It's so true. It's absolutely true. And I want to encourage you today to take some form of action. I also want you to think, what are the what if moments you would tell yourself if you never do anything different? Would you say, what if I did write that book? What would my life have been like? How could I have impacted others? What if I actually did get back to singing? Or what if I actually did make more sales in my company? What would that look like? So a lot of times we're afraid to actually be still enough to even hear our own voices, because I think sometimes, it's easy to be busy. Sometimes we really are busy in our regular everyday lives. And when we're so busy that we have no time to reflect, that is something that can be, a deterrent to our own goals. So procrastination is the biggest cancer to dreams, because when we procrastinate, we actually are doing what I call, a self-sabotage of your success. We're self-sabotaging. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to make sure to let me know, hey, Dr. D, I am listening. Hey, Dr. D, I'm upgrading my life in this year. And look, we're in October. Hasn't COVID rocked our world? I mean, many of us have been inside. Many of us have been working from home. Many of us have been like, what is going on? Many of us have just been like, what is actually happening? And I was listening to the speaker the other day, and he said, the shift has happened. We are not going back to whatever we thought we were going back to, at least for quite some time. And, so then we're left with, what do we do with this time? Hi, Nikisha. Good to see you. So happy you're here. So I don't know. How are you doing? Actually, yes, let's have this conversation. How are you doing? And what are you doing right now to stay in motion? What are you doing to stay in motion at this present time? Are you, in a lot of meditation? Are you creating? Are you trying to start your own business? Like, I would love to know, what are you doing today? So a lot of us have things that we can do. I've already talked about some of the steps you can take, right? You can decide to show up and do something minute every single day. You can decide to join our hashtag IWBCC community. You can also just decide that you're going to affirm that these goals that you have, that one day they might just happen. One day you will be able to take care of your finances the way you've always dreamed of. One day you'll be able to feel like you can smile from your gut, as I mentioned before. So a lot of us have to figure out, how are we essentially going to shift? And I want to encourage you, don't just sit back and watch the news. Don't just sit back and just watch series all day. But really ask yourself, if I had to do a status update on me, what are some of the things I constantly hear? And these are the things I want you to think about as you are moving forward, because change won't happen until we all change. Change can't happen until we change. And so if you're with me, and I want you to say, I can and I will upgrade my life in 2020. And look, every single day in the month of October, I will be going live across all live streams to let you know that you can essentially say, I can upgrade my life. And you know what? I have to just say this one more time. It doesn't matter who understands you or who's too familiar with you, because I hear so many people tell me all the time, well, if I were around the right people, or if I were around enough people, those things are true. But then we have what we call intrinsic motivation. This is the kind of motivation that stems from within you. This is the kind of motivation that you don't necessarily need it from people outside, but you're taking that time to build it up within you. And when you have, I believe, when you have strong intrinsic motivation, nothing can stop you towards being very progressive towards your goals. So we know that research shows that poor experiences, past failures, lost dreams, things that didn't turn out the way you wanted to, these all have really strong implications as to how we see our potential. But I can't stress it enough. We have to wipe the slate clean, as my Woman Build Confidence booklet says. We have to realize that failure is not a determinant of what you can do, but it's a great teacher. So if you have failed, like I said before, hey, Sarah, good to see you. If you have failed before in prior things, look at that as your teacher, like, wow, I failed at that thing, or it's not working as much as I would like it to. But now I need to look at that as my teacher and ask myself, what do I actually need? Who and where can I go? And look, that's my specialty. That's what Turning on the Lights Global Institute is all about, giving you tools and tips to reach new personal and professional goals. Because look, you can go to a ton of Zoom meetings and you can be stuck like everyone else, and you can be in a group where people are talking at you and not really with you, and you can be lost. And you can also opt in to 20 million things and get your inboxes flooded with all these different things for you to opt into until you get tired enough and go, wait a minute, I just need what I need. I just need to know, can you please simplify? How do I go from point A to B, right? So I want to say to you, look, if you have goals, you have dreams, you've been striving to do new things, it doesn't mean because you're not there yet that it's not working. It just means you need to let those experiences be your teachers. Let them teach you something about what it is that you need. Let them teach you something about the gaps that have been there for you. And then be non-negotiable about what you want. And then sit down and say, I can and I will upgrade my life. I don't know how I'm going to do it. One of the things you can do is come to our conference. One of the things you can do is come to our meet and greets. But you need to be in a process with leaders, experts that know what they're doing. And I want to invite you to our tribe if you're not already in it. But if you are in the tribe, throw your 5 stars and say, hey, I'm in the tribe already, so I can give you a shout out. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Look, we're going live right inside of Instagram at Dr. D Inspire with a Y. So you can always catch me there as well after I wrap up this moment. So we only have a few more seconds. And I'm going to share, because I know so many of you like my poetry. I have this one wonderful woman. She always in England, and she's always like, please share your poetry. So I will read this. So one of the songs that I just recorded yesterday is called I'm Ready to Leave This Box. So I'm actually going to read from my book of poetry, Chronicles of a Poet. If you have your book, hey, holler at me. But I'm just going to read the first poem because the book that's coming out in 2021 is all about my character leaving her box, leaving her box of everything, every box that people have placed her in. You know, you should only do this, you should only reach this far, or you can't do X, Y, and Z. So this character is leaving her box. And it's a very short poem, but it's called Sidonia's Secrets. And it simply says, please return to this box. Oh, no, I will not, Sidonia says. Please return to this box. I wish I could. Please return to this box. My pain is hidden there. Please return to this box. I cannot take part in the lie. Meaning that sometimes we are so boxed in, and so many things can box us in. Our age, what people think of us, people's perceptions, our own personal assumptions, our own self-limiting thoughts. All these things can be placed in this box where we think, you know what, I just have to stay here. But today, I want to challenge you, like my song says, I want to challenge you to say, I'm ready to leave this box. I'm ready to leave and surprise myself. Because when you do that, imagine what that would be like. So I know what it was like when I said, that's it. I'm not going to be sitting here looking at these luggages anymore. I'm not going to keep looking at these books that I've written that no one has read. It is time for me to do something different. And I hope that this challenge is really for you to say, you know what, I can leave my own box. I can actually now make a whole new, I can completely start over and really become the better version of myself that I have always envisioned myself to be. Whether no one believes that that's possible for you, maybe even if only your cat believes it's possible, hey, that's all you need. You just need to know that if you have it in your gut and it's been there for some time, that your dream is actually possible. So for those of you who tune in and comment the most, at the end of this month, I will be giving someone an Amazon gift card. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And if you catch the replay, just put replay and I'll make sure to check you out. But guys, thank you so much. I'm heading over now to Instagram, Dr. D Inspire with a Y. You guys have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.